Okay, just a quick video on NAS100. Okay, before I start this video, I just want to do a disclaimer that this is not financial advice. It's just a trade idea. So whatever information you get from here, don't take it as a financial advisor, because I'm not a financial advisor. Okay, so we're looking at the NASDAQ on a 1 hour time frame. But let me start on a 4 hour time frame quickly. I just want to show you structure. In my other video, I speak about structure and I explain what is structure. If I have to just jump in quickly and show you what is structure, market will either move up or will move down, or it will move sideways, meaning it will consolidate, it will move in between the same price. When market is moving up, structure will be something like up, pullback, so on and so forth. Same thing with the downtrend. It will do it down, it will have a correction, a down, a correction. Once the last point of structure has been broken, then the trend will change to the opposite direction. So if we take a look at NASDAQ right now, we've been on a downtrend for some time. I'm just gonna start marking from the beginning of the trend. We've been on a downtrend for some time. Let me rather use these arrows. We had market moving down, then it made a correction, so meaning this was now a point of structure, then a continuation to the downside. We had another correction, which is now a point of structure marked down 10. Then again we had the same thing. So these are now points of structures. If I have to just draft them down, this is your point of structure. A break of this level will signal a change of direction. Again, another one, this is now a point of structure. A break of this level will signal market to move to another direction. Again, this is another point of structure. Then when you scale down to a smaller time frame, you will see structure becomes much more. It's like on a higher time frame, you can see maybe let's say 3 points of structures on this downtrend on a 4 hour time frame. But now if you go to a smaller time frame, maybe 1 hour, maybe there's going to be more. But one thing that you should understand about structure again is that structure can apply in any time frame, but now the structure that will hold strong levels will be the structures from a higher time frame, meaning from daily time frame, 4 hour time frame and above. But below, those are like minor structures. I consider them minor structures. So in this case, if I have to just start afresh here and give you a clear indication of structure, let me just also wrap this. Start afresh. Okay, in this case we had market. Let me just start from, I will consider this as structure because this was the last point before the drop to the downside. So this is structure. Then we now had market dropping from here till here, then a correction on a 1 hour time frame. So now making this structure, continuation to the downside, then a U-turn. But now before we go to the U-turn, we just want to note the last point of structure. Then we also need to remember that this point of structure here, it's like our major structure. This I would consider our minor structure. But look at what market did. This was almost like a U-turn because we had market now reversing to the upside. It went up, then it touched at point of structure and did not break, meaning it created now something we call it's now a level of resistance. Now that's why I'm saying structure turn into a resistance, because now we have now market touching the same price point twice. Now it's forming a level of resistance. That's why we're seeing market now pushing to the downside. Now you can see market is now pushing back to the downside. I'm still looking at this market as in a downtrend. Okay, so I had to put my trend line here just so in case maybe we get a market maybe pulling back, it might touch that trend line, then continue to the downside. But if it breaks above the trend line and also breaks structure, then I'm looking at this last major structure. If it breaks above the major structure, then that's when I will look to start to buy. But at this point, I'm looking at the market as a downwards movement. Again, let's just go back to this up movement. I want to also mark structure. This was just an up move, but if you go back to a smaller time frame and you focus on only this move to the upside, you will notice that we had a lot of points of structures. Let me just go to 15-minute time frame so that I show you that structure always holds and market always moves based on market structure. Okay, let me just get this right. I'm gonna show you this. Okay, so let me just delete this. I will start from where market started going up. We had market moving from this point here, went up from the low, it went up, then we had a correction, then after then it had to continue higher, then we had some kind of a consolidation, a move higher again, correction, higher again, small correction, higher again. Okay, now I want you to notice this. Now I want us to mark every point of structure in this case, but the last point of structure will be the one that will count the most. Let's say, for example, market started moving from here up, came back here, then continue higher. This will be our last point of structure. If market breaks below this point, it means it will go down. But now look at what market did. It actually went up, pulled back, but did not come to this level of structure, continue higher, same thing, same thing, same thing. But look at what it did here. This was now our last point of structure. This was our last point of structure. It came back, break below that last point of structure, created a new point of structure, continue to the downside. Now it's just a correction. After a correction, if it continues to the downside, we should see market dropping further more. But now if it goes above this and break this minor structure, it should continue up higher. So what I'm trying to emphasize here is that structure can apply in any time frame, smaller time. But now remember, if you now trade structure on a smaller time frame, it means you are just focusing on holding the trade for a limited time only, because structure on 5-minute time frame, 15-minute time frame, it can easily it practically easily can be broken within a day. But now if you're looking at structure from a higher time frame, then you are looking at trading the overall movement. So in this case, what you would want to do in the current circumstance, what you would want to do is that you would put maybe a minor trend line here. This is on a 15-minute time frame. If you want to trade this is obviously on a downtrend. Then what you want to look for is, you will only want to buy if this trend line has been broken. If market breaks above this trend line, you have your point of structure. This is your structure now to the downside. You have down, you have your pullback, you have continued to the downside. What did I do now? Okay, I think let me just mark it the right way. You have your down move, you have your some kind of a consolidation, then this for me creates structure, then you have continuation to the downside, then now we have market coming here. Chances are it might just test this trend line, then it might continue higher. But now if it comes to the trend line and breaks above, then maybe we might get a retest of this level and a continuation, or sometimes we might not even get a continuation. So what you are looking to do now is you are looking to sell at the once market starts showing signs of going down, or you can look to sell below this point here. Let me just mark it quickly. That is what you can do. So personally, I'm looking at market still on a downtrend, but I'm looking at the 1 hour time frame, mainly for our time frame. So I'm expecting market to drop from here maybe till this low. After this low, if it breaks below this low, then it should continue to the downside. Another thing that we must keep in mind when we're trading NASDAQ is that we have a lot of fundamental coming in from America, where we have the government has reached a 28 trillion debt ceiling, of which they need to consolidate. I think they need to sort out before the 18th of this month. If they don't, then we might see the stock market crashing even furthermore. So we also need to pay attention to that. If we want to trade NASDAQ, pay attention to the fundamentals, understand what is happening before you can jump in. But as far as I'm aware of, the US market is not looking good, so there might be a lot of sell-off, but we'll just monitor the technical side and also see if they align with the fundamental. Then we'll look to take trades. Okay, all the best for the week.